Have you ever stopped and wondered what happens when the world's biggest sport slams right into one of the world's most powerful politicians? You see, the 2026 World Cup, it was supposed to be this huge celebration, a return to normal. But I found a story that's unfolding just behind the curtain. A story about power, about money, and a political team-up that could change the beautiful game forever. So what is really going on, and why does it feel like nobody is talking about it? It all kind of boils down to this one moment. You've got the head of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, handing Donald Trump the actual World Cup trophy. Now, this is a trophy only champions and heads of state are even allowed to touch. And he says, since you're a winner, you can touch it. Look, this wasn't just a photo op. This was a signal. This was the exact moment a global sporting event got tangled up in a very personal and very public political drama. And you have to remember, this was never supposed to happen. I mean, after the massive controversies around the Russia and Qatar World Cups, this joint bid from the US, Mexico, and Canada, it felt like a safe bet. The safest bet, really. It was FIFA's big chance to clean up its image, to get back to just football. It was supposed to be simple, stable, normal. So how did we get from a sure thing to a political firestorm? Okay, we're going to break it all down. We'll look at that original promise, then the two men at the very center of all this. The international incidents that just kept coming, a pretty shocking plan to change the games at the last minute, and finally, the one thing that connects every single piece of it. All right, so let's start with that initial promise. The whole United 2026 bid was sold to the entire world as the reliable choice. No drama, zero controversy. Just world-class stadiums, massive fan bases, and a laser focus on the sport. It was a promise to everyone that FIFA was finally turning over a new leaf. Well, the answer wasn't a problem with the stadiums or the sponsors. Not at all. The entire trajectory of this tournament was changed by what happened inside the White House. The political ground underneath everyone's feet shifted, and with it, the entire foundation of the 2026 World Cup just began to crack. And that, of course, brings us to the Donald and Gianni show. See, this isn't just a story about politics. It's really a story about a relationship, a very close and extremely visible friendship between the US president and the most powerful man in soccer that has completely taken over the entire narrative. And you can literally watch this relationship grow over time. It starts with a custom jersey back in 2018. Then, just fast forward a bit. All of a sudden, Infantino is a regular at the White House. Then FIFA announces it's opening an office in Trump Tower. And it all leads to a personal promise of the best seat in the entire stadium for the World Cup final. Yeah, this isn't just a friendship, this is a public display of an alliance. Now, as you can probably guess, when a relationship like this plays out on the world stage, the consequences are going to be huge. That alliance quickly spiraled into a series of shocking controversies, each one bigger than the last, casting this really dark shadow over the whole tournament. Okay, and this is where it just gets truly wild. During a visit with Infantino, Trump just casually floats the idea of inviting Vladimir Putin to the World Cup. I mean, just imagine that for a second. That one little comment instantly ignited a global diplomatic crisis. The thing is, the suggestion wasn't just controversial, it was basically impossible. You've got US sanctions for one, then there's an active arrest warrant for war crimes from the International Criminal Court. Oh, and FIFA itself has banned all Russian teams from competing. The fact that it was even mentioned tells you everything you need to know about how the game was already being used as a political pawn. Promises made on paper mean nothing when power plays the game. And that really gets us to the heart of the problem. Remember all those big promises from the original bid? Non-discriminatory access for everyone, major commitments to human rights? Well, now, those promises are colliding head-on with a new reality. Restrictive policies, serious tensions with the co-hosts, and real fear from groups who are now wondering if they'll even be safe or welcome. But it doesn't stop there, not even close. Beyond all the diplomatic firestorms, a completely new threat emerged. And this one didn't just target the reputation of the World Cup, it targeted the actual games themselves. So the president suggested he could just move games out of cities he considers dangerous, maybe at the last minute. Now, on the surface, you might think, okay, well, that's about safety, right? But I discovered that this seemingly simple idea would actually be the most dangerous move of all. It's what experts are calling a liability nightmare. You're not just changing a location, you're breaking ironclad contracts that are worth billions of dollars with host cities and sponsors. You're creating massive safety risks by moving to a city that hasn't spent years preparing for this, and you're instantly making all the insurance coverage worthless. They're not just moving the goalposts, they're gambling with billions.
So that makes you ask, why? Why risk all of this? Why turn a unifying global event into a political tool? To find the answer, you have to do what you always do in situations like this. You have to follow the money.
Because as much as this story seems to be about one man's political style, the headlines are hiding a much bigger story. There's another force at play here, one that's actually even more powerful than politics. It's about a massive financial deal that was quietly put into place, a deal that connects the 2026 World Cup to the future of FIFA for the next decade. And honestly, it's a deal that explains so much of what's been happening. And here it is. Saudi Aramco, the Saudi Arabian state oil company, is now a major FIFA partner. This deal doesn't just put their name on the 2026 tournament. No, it forges a direct financial path to the 2034 World Cup, which is set to be hosted by, you guessed it, Saudi Arabia. All of a sudden, the political chaos starts to look like a really convenient distraction for a much, much bigger financial play. And that's the real story I wanted to share with you. The tournament that was supposed to be a simple return to football has been completely transformed. It's become a stage for personal politics, a vehicle for diplomatic influence, and a key piece in a multi-billion-dollar financial strategy. The World Cup is no longer just a sporting event. It's a commodity. So as you look towards 2026, it leaves you with one final question. When the game itself is used as a tool for power and money, who is actually winning? It's pretty clear the biggest plays in this tournament are happening far away from any field. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to Howtomatic, where we turn the world's biggest stories into lessons you can actually use. See you in the next one.